Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. NHK reports that Iran's state-run news agency has announced the country's refusal to participate in the second round of negotiations with the United States. This news emerged on Sunday, following an announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump that his delegation was en route to Pakistan for discussions with Iran. The Iranian media outlet cited several reasons for Tehran's decision to reject the talks. These factors include what Iran describes as Washington's excessive demands, its constant shifts in negotiating stance, and the continuation of a naval blockade. Furthermore, the agency stated that Iran views this ongoing blockade as a direct breach of the existing ceasefire agreement. Al Jazeera reports that President Donald Trump announced a U.S. delegation would travel to Islamabad, Pakistan on Monday for potential talks aimed at ending the ongoing U.S.-Israel war on Iran. This follows an inconclusive first round of discussions last weekend, which Vice President J.D. Vance led. Trump accused Iran of violating a two-week ceasefire by opening fire in the Strait of Hormuz and threatened to destroy Iranian civilian infrastructure if a deal is not accepted. However, Iran's Tasnim news agency stated Tehran has not decided to send a delegation as long as a naval blockade on its ports persists. IRNA later reported Iran rejected talks, citing Washington's excessive demands and the blockade as a ceasefire breach. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, Esmail Baghaei, condemned the blockade as unlawful and criminal and a war crime. The IRGC Navy reaffirmed the Strait of Hormuz closure until the blockade is lifted. Pakistani and Iranian foreign ministers have discussed the need for continued dialogue. UPI reports that Blue Origin successfully completed the third launch of its New Glenn rocket, with the reusable booster Never Tell Me the Odds, making its second successful landing on the Jacqueline drone ship. Despite the rocket's successful ascent and booster recovery, the mission delivered AST SpaceMobile's Bluebird 7 communication satellite into an orbit that was lower than planned and too low to sustain operations. Consequently, the satellite will be deorbited, and its cost is expected to be recovered through the company's insurance policy. AST SpaceMobile aims to build a space-based cellular broadband network and plans further launches every other month in 2026. Blue Origin is also developing lunar landers, including a prototype for an uncrewed moon landing later this year as part of NASA's Artemis program. Al Jazeera reports that Israeli ministers Bezalel Smotrich and Israel Katz celebrated the official reopening of the Sa-Nur settlement in the occupied West Bank, nearly 21 years after it was illegally evacuated in 2005. Finance Minister Smotrich declared the event a historic correction and emphasized burying the idea of a Palestinian state. Authorities have approved 126 housing units in Sa-Nur, with 16 families already moved in. This reestablishment is part of a broader reversal of the 2005 disengagement policy, which also saw settlers removed from Gaza. In March 2023, the Knesset amended the disengagement law to allow settlers back into Sa-Nur, Homesh, Ganim, and Kadim. Under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government, settlement expansion has accelerated, particularly since the 2022 election. Rights groups note a significant increase in settlement approvals and settler violence since October 7, 2023, with 34 new settlements approved last month, bringing the total under the current government to 104. A tragic shooting incident in Shreveport, Louisiana, resulted in the deaths of at least 8 children, ranging in age from 1 to 14. Police have indicated that the violence stemmed from a family dispute. The incident unfolded in the early hours, around 5 a.m., with the gunman firing at 10 individuals. Some of the child victims reportedly had familial ties to the assailant. Following the attack, the suspect carjacked a vehicle in an attempt to escape, but was intercepted and ultimately killed by police in another community. Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault described the event as one of the city's most devastating tragedies. Authorities have not yet released the identities of the deceased or the gunman, awaiting notification of their families. A comprehensive investigation is underway, involving local and state police departments, to fully ascertain the circumstances surrounding this horrific event. This news comes from Sing Tao. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.